Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you are seeing me, please consider liking and subscribing. We are Real Tech for Real People. Today's video is the second video covering the latest update on the LGCX OLED. At 77 inch, you see the 0.09 latest firmware update, and the below panel is a 55-inch CX, which does not have the update. I did a gameplay video yesterday. This video was filmed right after it, before we had solid confirmation that the update did remove 100 nits of peak brightness during game mode. After I put out my video, Vincent's video also dropped, and he was able to discern through calibration equipment that it does remove 100 nits of peak brightness. Organically, in the video that I did yesterday, I was able to tell that it was slightly dimmer or not as bright, I should say, in Call of Duty Black Ops. But the other games, Will-O-the-Wisps, and most of the Halo games through the Xbox Series X and through an HDR splitter, look like they were about the same, yet we have had confirmation that it is down about 100 nits. Now, LG is working on a fix. I do commend LG for coming up with that fix. However, it just seems like they're always doing more damage than good at this point. And I just wish they would just leave the panel alone and let it do its thing. But here we are. Apparently it's only in game mode. Here we are in the Filmaker mode, using the Spears and Munsell demo / benchmark disk. We are in default for both of them. We're going to run this demo here. It is a gorgeous demo. I encourage you to go into the description, pick it up, support their work. I am putting here that there is an update coming from LG. Who knows when that's going to happen. Now, on a further note, my LG, the one at the top, is going back. It's going back primarily because of heavy banding in the whites. Some of you have said to me in the comments that you are seeing the same thing. So mine is definitely going back. The 55-inch I've had since March. It does have some banding as well, not as severe. I will do some tests on both of those so you can see them compared to each other. But that 55 is staying, the 77-inch is going back. I am going to get another CX, as I do want to continue to enjoy content. Now here we have the demos playing side by side. They are going to push cool on the camera. I could ramp them up to warm 3, but I want them to be at their default setting for the purposes of this video, so they're both exactly the same. Neither display is calibrated. When I get the new 77-inch, that one will be calibrated by Value Electronics and their calibrator, Jonathan. Now, I was saying here through this video, as I did change my dialogue, simply because, Vincent's video did come out, and I was kind of guessing here. But when I was in the video, watching the video, I was basically guessing that they were exactly the same in this mode. They didn't seem any different. The black level did seem a bit stronger, but I mean, black level is really hard to judge, especially on demo material. I will say that watching the Spears and Munsell demo disc on all the panels that I have and had, the A9S, the 950H, but even having the CX since March. Now, my CX, the one on the bottom, was not updated out of the box. I did not update it. It took an update, unfortunately, on its own. But I didn't ever notice crawling blacks or any of the elevated blacks in demos such as this. I'm not sure if the quality is just that high on this disc, but never had an issue with black level on this particular demo. This is running through an HDR splitter. Now, the splitter is supposed to have Dolby Vision pass through. I have not been able to get that to function properly. But they do look fantastic. They do look the same. Now, a little talk while we're, we know it's 100 nits less bright in game mode. Not a big fan of updates. I tend to, once the panels are where they should be, I tend to actually take them offline. I don't really use the smart features on TVs. I'm not a conspiracy person where I think they screw up TVs on purpose. Excuse me. I do feel like if any kind of firmware updates, both in gaming and in technology, sometimes by fixing one thing, they undo another. And I also fully believe that LG's resources, and if they're listening, you know, I have a feeling this is what's going on. The LG's resources have also moved to next year, and they've also moved to their 8K crew. I do feel the 4K lineup will be secondary next year, and I do feel the engineers that are working on these updates are not the top talent. That group, as far as I'm concerned, has moved on to the 8K lineup of next year and their other panels, whether it's mini LED or their new nano cell. Kind of reminds me of Call of Duty, where, you know, your first tier makes the initial maps and then your second string kind of works on the DLC. That's just my feeling. I have no real information to back that up, but, you know, that's just kind of how I feel about it. Especially since these TVs have already been sold and you have 8K lineups next year. Now, I could sit it out and wait for the C1. I do have the option with Value Electronics to do that. I just don't see the new 4K OLEDs to be very different next year, other than the 83-inch with the heatsink. I imagine that one will probably be about $6,000 or $7,000 at launch. But it is interesting with the CX or C10. It is definitely the most loved and most viled panel out there. If you're somebody who dislikes OLEDs or dislikes LG or just dislikes people that don't have it, LG's given a lot of ammunition for those folks to really put this panel down. I'll just say that if you're somebody who owns one, it is the most fully spec'd OLED. It's not close as far as what it offers with gaming, and even its processing has been so improved. But the hate that it gets is unbelievable from, you know, Sony fans or Samsung fans, from everybody. It's amazing how much hate it gets. If you do have one, do not let that bother you. You know, it is a little bipolar. It is very inconsistent with this iteration. I do feel like the C9 was a little inconsistent with raised blacks as well. But LG is trying to make it right. And if you're somebody who games, it's not close. There's nothing out there that can touch it. But it does have its problems. It is not perfect. But don't get too down if you have one. They are looking to make it right. For me, the biggest issue, as we're just talking here on OLEDs, banding has been the biggest problem I've had with them. 5% gray, you'll see banding on almost every OLED. I've seen banding in red and green and other OLEDs, mostly Sony OLEDs with that. But I never suspected I'd see it so much in the whites that I'm seeing with both of my panels. I did see it on the Sony A9S as well, but being 48 inches, it was a little hard to tell. So we're just talking here. Obviously, it's been confirmed, but that it's 100% or 100 nits less. You are not seeing that here because I don't believe it affected the other picture modes. Was that to forego burn-in? I don't think so. I'm not really sure that 100 nits makes all that much of a difference. EBL is in there to make sure that doesn't happen. But 100 nits is enough to, you know, to bug us, considering OLEDs aren't that bright. So I wouldn't download the update until you have confirmation. Again, if you do have the update, it's really not affected anything other than game mode, and it will be fixed apparently. I'll get more information when I'm in Value Electronics tomorrow, and we'll see exactly what LG is actually saying. All right, guys, short 10-minute video. Thank you so much for watching. These two panels look just about exactly the same. And but I haven't really seen a huge benefit from this update. Apparently, it did fix Dolby Vision. It does seem to have less flicker that I had before. I still have the crawling blacks. My panel is definitely going back, and I will tell you if by switching it out. But you guys will be with me for that part of the ride. But definitely grab this disc, check it out, run it, and I hope all is well with you guys. Again, don't let the toxicity and hate get you down if you have an LG. You didn't make this big mistake. They're trying to fix it. I know it's a bummer, but, you know, don't get too caught up in the comments trying to defend it either. You know, just enjoy. But they both look tremendous. All right, guys. I will see you soon. Take care, and thank you as always.